Let's just make sure this is actually going. Let's see here. Yes, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Boop, 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 boop. Get all the links going. Get all the playlists going. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's continue our vampire journey. Kadir al-Assami, the sheriff of New York City, is knocking at the door to your haven. The sight comes as more than a little shocking. If he had business with you, you'd either expect to see him already inside or never see him coming at all. Yet there he is, on the other side of the peephole, patiently and politely waiting for you to let him in. You carefully unlock the door and face him in silence. Evening, may I come in? You simply stare at him. Your lack of an answer doesn't faze him, and your lack of resistance as he starts walking inside has obviously been interpreted as a permission. Once inside, he starts looking around as you cautiously stay by the door. Haven't really had time to make this place your own yet, have you? It feels like Langley's apartment through and through, a secluded study where nobody studies anything. Look at the books on the shelf, obviously meant to impress guests, not to be read. They reveal nothing about their owner, aside from the aching desire to be taken seriously as an intellectual. He picks one of them up and smirks before putting it away. The phenomenology of spirit. What a word! Next to all of this garbage poetry, we can make a bet. If she's read more than 20 pages, I owe you $50 and a gallon of blood. The kind of place that self-professed hermits entomb themselves in to suffer. Considering how much you have to run around these nights, you probably only use it to shelter from the sun and rest, right? Even though he's obviously making an effort to come off as non-threatening, it's impossible to forget the first impression he made. You still see him as a fierce predator, trying hard not to expose his true colors. You sense a familiar fight or flight. Geez, I cannot talk today. Response as you struggle to find a diplomatic answer to his last question. If Kadir's bothered by your silence, he doesn't let it show. He keeps walking around, toying with whatever catches his eye. Eventually, he speaks up again. Watch any baseball lately? If I had to guess, you strike me as a Red Sox fan. Now he's inviting you to talk in a more direct manner. You attempt to overcome your physical reaction to him and reply as casually as you can. Your mind keeps going back to that night when everything was changed forever. Waking up in hell with a body next to you, spending a night in that underground sweatbox, unsure of what will happen next, the endless car ride, 3 strikes, a bloodthirsty crowd, that blade. A rebirth, a baptism by fire, a frightening executor who made sure the flames scarred your spirit. As you look into his face, you realize he's read the emotions from yours. Not in the mood to exchange pleasantries, There's no animosity in his voice, he's just stating a fact. Let me get straight to the point, then. He momentarily stops caring about his surroundings, turning all of his attention to you, and demanding the entirety of your attention in return. You see, there's something I've realized over the years. In large part, I may have been hired just to look menacing with a sword, but my job is all about seeing through bonds and relationships. The Camarilla would be safe as long as its members adhered to certain social contracts, making their dealings and affinities plain for everyone to see, but that obviously remains a pipe dream. This is a community of born conspirators, overly ambitious gangsters and politicians, monsters in denial, all sorts of tragically broken individuals. They are driven by desires that make them incompatible with the Masquerade, incompatible with prolonged survival of the Camarilla, incompatible with the methods I use to operate. And so I am doomed to be like a cop, constantly insulted behind my back, maybe for a good reason, but immediately called for help whenever someone loses their tableware. Or, like an Agatha Christie protagonist, outwardly assisted by everyone, but constantly lied to about everyone's past and motivations, even if my failure to solve the mystery might be the end of us all. He tries to sound like he's peacefully resigned to his fate, but it's easy to detect a tinge of regret in his voice, a voice belonging to someone who once had bigger ambitions than this. What broke him? So you see, for this detective, the why done it is far more important than who done it or how done it. When you understand all the players and their mutual obligations, you easily understand every crime. But of course the kindred know it, so they devise ways to make my job much harder. Just like conspiracies between two unrelated actors that depend on scratching each other's backs for mutual security. Or they enforce a blood bond to make someone unexpected their thrall. A boss serving their employee, a rebel serving a tyrant, just because one is regularly being forced to drink another's blood. Blood bond, a mystical enforced relationship between a vampire and another, mortal or kindred. Drinking the blood of a vampire directly from the vein 3 times creates an intense loyalty in the drinker, resembling infatuation or obsession. The bond loses its grip with time, but is reinforced by repeated drinks from the donor vampire. Fun! What has Sophie seen in you? Why does the prince keep asking me about your actions? How come you're being pushed to build your own coterie so fast? You are surrounded by unclear motivations which you yourself don't understand. That unnerves me, and it should unnerve you as well. Why are you here, and what are your motivations? What are your motivations? Oh, and what are your motivations? Finally, you manage to raise your voice. Kadir notices the effort and smiles softly. So you haven't gone mute since the last time I saw you. Good. Well, I'm here for a selfish reason. I need to develop a rapport with you to better fulfill my obligations. The last time we met, I couldn't see you as my equal. Now that you've been accepted into the Camarilla, what choice do I have? I'd understand if you didn't want to see my face again, but I'm one of the faces of the New York City community. As long as you're a part of it, it's going to be impossible to avoid me. Especially when I have business with you, and I do. As you might have guessed by now, one of my tasks is uncovering and understanding your bonds, and one of them might endanger our community. Well, that's not menacing at all. Who is he talking about? Someone from my coterie? You mean someone I'm trying to recruit into my coterie? Kadir shakes his head. I'm monitoring them and they know it. If they're breaking the rules, they're doing it the right way, meaning I haven't learned about it yet. Unless you might want to share something? A moment of awkward silence. Joking, mostly. He produces a file from underneath his coat and passes it to you. This is our troublemaker. You open the file and see some printed photos. You freeze up as you recognize the face and are overwhelmed by a flood of repressed memories. Oh no, it's Emma! Emma, the only person who's kept you hanging on through all these years, the only person you have in your corner in your never-ending fight against the world. You've kept your shit together so far, trying not to think about her until you got everything sorted out, but seeing her face brings a lump to your throat. You look up at Kadir, expecting answers. I'll be frank, at first I thought you were a total commercial failure, someone destined to eventually disappear from the streets of New York without a trace or one soul to care. But it looks like your sister is the best guardian one could ask for. Lots of friends in high places and lots of favors to collect. The word is she'll do anything to get you back. The risk of endangering us is relatively low, but far from non-existent, which means your sister must be stopped. Must be stopped sounds threatening. You dread thinking what he's planning. I'll arrange for you two to meet tomorrow so that you can straighten the situation out and say goodbye to the life you've forsaken. He'll arrange what? Your eyes must look like saucers right now. Usually these matters are left to my discretion, and I can't think of an easier solution. The lost sheep reappears, takes care of unfinished business, and disappears, never to be seen again. Nobody cares. It's simple, it's clean, no contrived schemes, no unnecessary victims. And it gives me an opportunity to learn more about you as I observe. When neonates interact with kind they used to hold dear, their true natures are laid bare for everyone to see. Neonate, a young kindred, recently embraced by more than a fledgling. Cool. Of course he's invested in being kind to you, or he's making clear his self-serving intentions too, so that you don't start figuring them out yourself. Any objections? Any alternatives are probably worse. You shake your head. Very well, we'll arrange a meeting and drive you there tomorrow. Better come up with a load of bull that's easy to swallow. He disappears from the apartment, leaving you as confused as the last time he closed the door on you. God damn it, you need to think it through. For a long time you just sit in your haven, lost in your thoughts, trying to come up with lies that you convince the only person who's ever seen the real you. Alright, oh, somebody's watching part 2. Nosy reporter, gift that keeps on giving. Let's do somebody's watching. Walking down the street near your haven, you suddenly spot a young, disheveled woman leaning against a wall. She looks you straight in the eye and disappears into an alley. She is your stalker. You're certain of it. You take a few running steps to catch up with her, determined to find out what this is all about. Ducking into the alley, you come upon a grisly scene. An old man, a pensioner really, lies broken on the ground, telltale puncture marks on his neck. 3 vampires stand above the corpse, licking their lips. All were embraced young, 2 men and a woman, black hoodies, bicycle chain, a facial tattoo. You've never seen them before, and you assume you know why. They're anarchs. Hey, it's the Camarilla fucker, just as promised. I like being up these privileged little shits. You walked into the simplest ambush in the world. The woman you saw briefly at the mouth of the alley is nowhere in sight. Perhaps that shouldn't be surprising, given her obvious powers of invisibility. Let's calm down, run away, and say bye. Let's calm down here, bro. Whoa, let's calm down. There's no need for violence. The anarchs come closer, crowding you menacingly. Oh yeah? What if I'd like a bit of violence? This is Camarilla territory? I've done nothing wrong. I have no beef with you. The anarchs look at each other. You know what? You've convinced us. We'll leave you in peace. I don't think we've convinced him. All the anarchs laugh. One of them, a guy, punches you in the stomach. You stagger back, trying to figure out whether you should run or fight when you see the anarchs looking past you. They are mortals, ordinary New Yorkers gathering at the mouth of the alley. You see cell phones, people shooting video. This is a masquerade breach for sure. The anarchs come to the same conclusion. As if by common wordless decision, they turn and run down the alley away from the crowd. After a moment's hesitation, you do the same. As you emerge on the street on the other side of the block, there's no sign of the anarchs. One thing is clear, your mystery stalker is not worried about you getting hurt. Dope. Knock knock, you'd ask who's there, but you don't know if the sheriff of New York City would play along. When you open the door, you see him toying with the car keys he's holding in his hand. Ready to go, fledgling? You don't feel like it, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent, stay close. He leads you down to the vehicle he's parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel, literally and figuratively. Everything inside is just the way you remember it, down to the rearview mirror reflecting the intense stare of your guide. However, the trip itself feels notably different. Last time Kadir drove you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your old life. This time he's pulling you back into it. Let me tell you how this is going to go. As I said, I've arranged a meeting between you and your kin. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you two from a safe distance to make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I'll reiterate just so you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that would violate the Masquerade. Don't establish some secret routes of contact. I will know. Do treat it as the last time you two will meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. Here's your story. You're fine, found yourself at a crossroads, decide to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable, the rent is too high, they've heard it all. However, you wouldn't leave for good without saying farewell to the only person who cared. He gives you a compassionate stare. It's gonna leave a scar, boy, but true artist knows those are not something to hide, but to display with pride. You're a fresh corpse. People you meet can still leave a mark on you. One night, a long time from now, you'll realize you missed collecting new wounds. The car makes a sudden turn. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be so kind and don't make me regret it. You can sense he's going out of his way for you, but doesn't try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see if you are worthy of his aid. We're here. You take a look around and recognize your destination. He was right. It is a familiar place. It's right next to the exhibition space, the one where you met your future sire. This is where you saw Emma for the last time. This is where they last saw poor Porcelain. Who knows whatever might have happened to him. That's what your sister is trying to find out. I took the liberty of messaging her in your steed. She's up there waiting for you to come and explain yourself. He turns off the engine and relaxes comfortably in his seat. You silently leave the car and head straight for the exhibition space. The elevator ride up just doesn't seem to end. After what feels like 5 hours, but in reality is closer to 30 seconds, you finally reach your floor. Emma's standing there, looking at the paintings. She's trying to act carefree, but is holding onto her bag a little too tightly. When she hears your footsteps, she's startled. Then she sees you, and her eyes immediately fill with tears. She runs up to you and gives you a hearty hug. God damn it, Porcelain, god damn it. You stay in her arms, silent for a little while. The bonds of blood run deep. This feels right. You're so cold. What happened to you? You look into her eyes and start searching your heart for a lie that would satisfy her, if only a little bit. I decided on a soul-searching trip. There was a sudden opportunity. So you see, I met this man, and he was interested in art I make, and he was from the other side of the world. And you stop mid-sentence. It's perfectly obvious that you're not exactly telling the truth, and her expression makes it obvious that she knows. What happened? Porcelain, talk to me. All the life-saving work she's sent your way, from the concept artist job to this very exhibition. I've been losing my mind. Talked to literally everybody I know to ask when the last time they saw you was. All the time she helped get you... All the time she helped you get your shit together. I've always been honest with you. The least you can do is return the favor. She has, and she absolutely deserves to know, but she can't. Kadir is waiting downstairs. Porcelain. Her voice startles you. Your first instinct is to run. And, like the beast you become, you trust it. Porcelain? You can't do this. Not now. Not like this. She watches as you, kindred, an undying creature of the night, zoom away from her, run into the elevator, and press the ground floor button. This might be the last time you ever see each other. At least, look her in the eye and force yourself to tell her one last thing. Don't search for me. We'll meet again. I'll send you a message. Don't search for me. For your and my own good. She's too stunned to react as the elevator doors close. You slide down the wall, hiding your face in your arms. You find your own priorities disgusting. But what gets you down the most is not the fact that you failed to give closure to the only person you cared about. It's more that you failed to make this farewell beautiful. It makes you feel like a failure of an artist. Even with all this newfound power, you still can't express yourself through the canvas of your life. You're still stuck in your old ways. But you know Em. She'll take the pain you caused her and use it to make art that resonates, that sells. What if authentic trauma is the best gift you could find to repay all her generosity? Jesus Christ, you're disgusting. If you consider all of those emotional commodities, no wonder you're a failure as an artist. The elevator doors open. Better run while she's still up there. Back to Kadir's car. Once you close the door, he instantly puts his foot on the gas pedal. Walking off the pitch with no regrets? Said everything you had to say? Kadir sighs. Yeah, that's what I gathered from here. I'll keep an eye on the situation, placate her somehow if she won't stop looking. I've got some well-tested methods. Non-violent, of course. He gives you a good stare via the rearview mirror. You're an artist, aren't you? You nod half-heartedly. So you of all people should know that things never work out the way you plan. There could always be more time to plan, tools that could help you execute it better. Perfection is just an accident. The only thing you can do is give it your best shot, given the circumstances, and immediately move on to the next thing. When all is said and done, regret is nothing but narcissism and a waste of time. Holy fuck, Kadir! Really just down on that worldview, huh? Sophie, your courtier. Oh my goodness. Those are the materials you've been given, and they're potent ones. Make the best use of them, so that they might create something more beautiful than your artist tools ever did. And as a side note, I envy you. Oh, jeez. I wish I still had someone to make my knees feel like jelly, even when you can't see them anymore. Just knowing that they're there keeps you in touch with what you once were. The car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Kadir a good hard look. Why are you not mean to me? Thank you. Good job with saying... Good job, bud. You've done a good job saying all of this up. He chuckles, visibly proud. If I couldn't handle something this easy, I wouldn't be holding my position. But... Then he takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expression. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy is still here, and without a doubt he will go back to decapitating suckers like you any time now. The car starts slowing down. We're here. You look out the window and see your haven. Take care. I'll see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your haven, thinking about Kadir. Can't say you're fond of him, what with the welcome he gave you and all, but after tonight you can't say you aren't either. You're going to need some more time to understand him, that's for sure. All right. Okay, so we got the 5 normal ones. We'll do the other side of Hope. When you get to the Internet Cafe, Hope is already waiting out front. The sight catches you off guard. A part of you suspected that she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in, get in, get in. She doesn't wait for your response and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring expectantly, causing everyone's head to turn. Not wanting to attract needless attention, you quickly slip into the backseat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. 0 to 100 real quick. Oh, wow, I like your car, dude. That's fucking cool. Usually all the car interiors are the same, but dope. Sorry for not bringing you up to speed first. But hey, this is NYC. Everyone's always in a rush, and this is even more true when you're kindred. Busy work. No, allow me to take care of some business, and I'll be right with you. Even as she's zooming through traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Nice car. Watch the road, please. Nice car. How do you afford that? Vroom, vroom, beep, beep. Thank you. The lavender really brings out its character, doesn't it? At busy work. About affording things in this city. It's pretty hard. You gotta be at the top of your game at all times. Might as well explain my business plan to you while I'm at it. Discuss BTC. So, another extremely online malk based in New York goes by the name of Dev Null told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That's how I got into Bitcoin. Of fucking course she got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion. 23-year-old selling visions of governments replaced by, quote, benign code and decentralized consensus, quote, mass ruled by, quote, algorithms as just as the laws of physics, end quote. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their realities through sheer fanatical zeal and dedicated collectors of things as abstract as rare SHA-256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rearview mirror more often than she looks straight ahead? A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value, only abstract beliefs matter, and your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How could I refuse that allure? I started buying low and selling high in a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allowed me with 100 times leverage, as in they'd lend me 100 times the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing impulsively, recklessly. I got to the point where I became too big to fail, and that's when I cashed out. The car comes to an abrupt halt. You bump against the seat in front of you. 100 to 0 real quick. Okay, the story will be continued later. We're here right at our first stop. I need you to do me a favor. We're where? What favor? First stop? First stop? Young, hot, petite... what the fuck? Inguine? Ingenuine? I don't know. Yeah, I need to run a few errands tonight. This one is as simple as it gets. See that weird guy in a Yankees cap standing around the corner? Approach him, tell you're at young, hot, petite, whatever. Take the phone he gives you and bring it here. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact he seems pretty shady. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. The hell do you want? Here you go. No, oh, no offense, but I kind of expected a girl. I mean, no, yeah, my bad for assuming. Damn. He takes the phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Everything has been prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. Should take about 2 minutes to transfer the data. Now get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop gait. You jump back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. She connects the two smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's an identical model. After a minute or so, the process is complete. All right. Goodbye, lovely. You served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs her old phone. You're not expert enough to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it had an $800 price slapped on it, and tosses it out the window. Surprised, you look behind you and see a car in the opposite lane run over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. Off-the-grid lifestyle. I've been needing a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit, so it's an pretty expensive necessity. Intersection. Red light. She takes advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and upload it to Instagram. You notice her handle there is for Sace Beauty. Now, I was telling you a story. Bitcoin cashing out. Right. At some point towards the end of 2017, I became convinced I needed cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew there would be no Grapes of Wrath for the cryptocurrency era. It would have to be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was a decentralized church of lone millennials who rejected all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt last-second turn. You're pressed against the window. What the hell is it with her driving style? Bet a life you never wanted to live anyway, and get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untether yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in suicidal ideation. To this day, money holds no real value for me. It's as abstract as a video game score. A bunch of numbers on the screen. This joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. Wealth haver. Thank you. So I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena, elite NYC social circles. Not because I want to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star, a constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance of a shifty-looking back alley. Leaky gut syndrome. All right, friend, this time you're at leaky gut syndrome, whistleblower extraordinaire. Whenever a press sneak fuck wants a leak, you've got it. Got it? Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I personally contact people as a last resort. It gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face. And since I've got you, our man is waiting for you in the back alley. He's paying back a favor with a flash drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in this city. Retrieve it. I will circle the area and make sure we weren't in danger right now. When you're done, get back here and I'll pick you up. Everything clear? Good. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head into the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the end of the back street, unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes with a nervous eye tick. He looks even dodgier than the last guy you met. When you approach, the guy gives you a mean look. You lost or something? I'm leaky gut syndrome? You said you got a little something that might interest me. Of course, straight to the point, aren't you? Alright then. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick from his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Miss Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt on her took more effort than I expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. The more you ask around about her, the more you expect a letter saying, give up your inquiries, which are completely useless at your doorstep, perhaps attached to a severed cat head. You catch my drift? The secrecy surrounding her screams, friends in high places, brave new world order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. Refuse and bluff. I ran a background check on you. You're not just some random schmuck off the street. No way you didn't know what you were walking into when you took on this job. And if you really didn't, I doubt you're the kind of journalist who can gather intel worth shit. You're bluffing the hell out of him, unsure if it's going to work. It does. The man spits on the ground angrily and raises his hands in surrender. Alright, I shouldn't put you on the spot like that. My bad, okay? He extends the hand holding the flash drive towards you again. You take it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what it's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. He reaches into his inner jacket pocket and presents you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood, labeled simply as ABRH. You take a closer look, but that doesn't answer any of your questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see them twitch uncontrollably. Don't ask me. They said you'll know what to do with it, leaky gut. Come on, take it. Accept the blood. Drink his blood. I'll accept it. Fine, I'll take it. You grab the bag. Anything else? Yeah, I don't think so. Thanks for your cooperation. Another eye twitch and an awkward silence. You hide the blood bag under your clothes and leave the alley the way you came. Hope's car appears behind the corner just as you walk out into the street. It doesn't even fully stop when you approach, but slows down just enough so that you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she leans into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems as a person. We've got it? You throw the flash drive onto the seat next to her. Perfect. Any problems? How did the meeting go? You relate the entire back alley encounter to her. Toward the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. Bloody Mary and Adderall. You got the bag of blood with you? You place it on the seat next to her. She peeks at the label. She looks at it again. Then she steps on the brakes. Fuck. Yeah, I'm guessing it's a tracker. I'm okay. She grabs both the bag and the flash drive you've obtained, throw them out the window. Looks like that's her favorite method of taking care of problems. That bag was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what they've done to the bag? Some NYC vets can tell you wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill other kindred. Seriously? Glad I didn't drink from him. Better safe than sorry, yeah. Still, I wonder if they would have done anything to his blood. That would be some kind of 5-dimensional chess move. But yeah, this contact is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear leaky gut syndrome. You've both outlived your usefulness. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. Well, however, I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin, and then where did I stop? Scamming constellations. Becoming a constellation. Oh, right, you know who saw the real face of the city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working class girl, born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone that she was this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they bought it for years while she swindled them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $300,000. Jesus Christ. Sorokin created her Delvey persona out of thin air, convinced everyone that she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while being basically broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability. And apparently, most of her rich victims never admitted to being scammed out of shame. By now you're sure, the way she scrutinizes her surroundings, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Now, Delevey's locked up with murderers and Rikers, writing her memoirs, apparently picking a lot of fights. Bless her heart, she'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds, and I can rely on many more made-up people than just some old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate. Makes it super easy to earn more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and the deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with a fictional status, play nonsensical Camarilla games. And one day, you might just find yourself at the top. Alright, we're reaching our last stop. You look around, you're coming up on a parking garage. Devil woman doctor. Okay. You're gonna take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you meet from the door this memory card. It contains an art house movie I've made. Art house movie? You mean vampire movie? You made it? Art house movie? What do you mean by art house? It's probably a word I can't say on stream. There we go. You've seen me rehearse it in my haven. You know what I mean. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who'll pay a fortune for a convincing vampire cam show. I don't need money, but their IT industry connections gave me an idea. When we give them this memory card, we'll gain access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in the city. So your nickname this time is going to be a crash. You are momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what's happened. The first thing you know for sure is if you were still a normal human being, you'd be dead. You replay the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed-off space. The driver has already managed to kick open the mangled door next to him and stumble out of his seat. Now he wordlessly approaches the trunk and takes a large caliber silenced pistol out of it. Fun! He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish the job that he started. You have to be fast and violent. It's you or him now. Attack the man. Outrun his gun. Attack the man. Your instincts take over. You don't come up with a strategy or an optimal route. You simply start running towards the gunman, yelling. For a split second, he's completely dumbfounded. Then he opens fire. The bullet put a brief stop to your sprint. You're engulfed in pain, your flesh and clothes being shredded to bits. But when his magazine runs out, you're still standing and determined to move forward. He tries to attack as quickly as possible, but he can't reload his weapon before you get to him. A tackle, a primal scream, left punch, right punch, left punch, right punch. You return this cruelty tenfold to his face. When you're done, the head is barely recognizable as human. You stand above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself and your killer instincts. That's when you hear her voice. Ugh. Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing over your assailant. Huh, you did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an annoyed grunt. Same but unironically. Knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day, and I know just who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach someone through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in business casual on her smartphone screen. Kara Montgomery, how may I help you? Or Kara, from Vulgar. Hope. Hey, Nate, what's up? How are you? Hope, didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Did something happen? Your fucking ghoul just tried to kill me, you crazy bitch. That's what fucking happened. Calm yourself, for Christ's sake. This is a baseless accusation. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working on your motherfucking company. Come on, you know I can't be held responsible for the independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we just meet up and talk it over? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. You corporate shithead, you make me sick. Tired, she turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. Haul it back, woman. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. 30 seconds later, his body is laying on the back seat of the lavender-colored wreck. Okay, good. You take a look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious Masquerade violation. I'll have to exchange my Pomme d'Or-worthy masterpiece for the good some other time. She gets behind the wheel and you follow her inside the car. Meet me in my haven when I tell you it's safe. For now I need to dump this asshole somewhere, get my car fixed, and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to your own haven. She drops you off, and before she leaves, she makes what's about to come perfectly clear. If we want to survive in this city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. She disappears into traffic, and you disappear into your place. Fun. I guess we're resting. Alright, let's continue with Hope. When you reach the cafe, you're welcomed by the familiar face of the waiter who first led you inside. You exchange looks and nods. He hides his vape pen in a back pocket. She's been expecting you. Something happened to her car, and she hasn't exactly left her room ever since. He scratches his head, shrugs, and gestures at you to follow him. It's the same route as before. First beyond the locked door at the end of the room with all the computers, then into an endless gray labyrinth. Finally, you reach a door that would look like any other to a random bystander. Of course, by now you know that Hope's haven lies beyond it. The waiter bids you adieu with an exaggerated bow and starts walking back to the cafe. You enter the familiar room. This time the lights are on inside. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Hope is inside, walking around nervously, overseeing every screen in sight. When she spots you, she wastes no time on introductions. Kara Montgomery, what do you know of her? Not a lot, dude. You could have seen her in listicles such as Top 5 Badass Women in Tech 2018, 12 CEOs who spark innovation through empathy, or 20 entrepreneurs with mysterious ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Fuck! You don't get to voice your answer. The question was just a minor courtesy. She has a monologue to deliver and she won't allow any interruption. 20 years ago, she was a failed .com investor. Now she's CEO of Double Spiral, a brand management startup working at the crossroads of big data and influencer culture. The quotation marks are audible, dripping with venom. Long story short, she spent years convincing her Camarilla contacts, as an out-of-touch old farts angry about smartphones, that Kindred can benefit from controlling the internet. Her IT ghouls have done a lot of research on deepfakes, AI, and machine learning. Her goal is the ability to generate thousands of believably human online accounts. Basically an army of posters that could brute force anything into the mainstream discourse. The elders took a while to get the concept, but eventually Kara got their blessing. The thing is, she claims her tech is ready to be tested, but it needs one final component to work properly, and that's why She pauses. She proposed a truce. Good news, what truce, fucker? What truce? Truce? What kind of truce? The become my friend or face a violent death kind of truce. Not exactly fucking convincing if you ask me. But no matter how much I hate her guts, this is a blessing in disguise. Hear me out. She picked a public place in Manhattan, neutral ground where we can meet without fear that the other party might do something stupid and violate the Masquerade. She wants to just talk. You will go there in my place and listen to her terms. We won't accept them, of course, especially not after she just tried to kill us. You will just steal her voice and walk away. Steal her voice? What next? Will you trade her mermaid tail for legs? A Disney joke? Sweet, what next? Will you hit me with a topical Harry Potter reference? I'm not trying to be obtuse here. Wait a second, let me explain my plan. You see, there is only one way to even the odds. We have to hit Kara where it hurts, and she's only got one weak point. Double Spiral headquarters. Kara's the only person there with access to every room. The security is something she came up with herself. Voice-based, but using a different password phrase every time. That means just recording her talking is not enough if we want to get in. That's why I started selling illicit materials to people with access to advanced deepfake audio technology. Haha, she's roasting, homie. She fucking is. I got it right in this room, and now all I need is a simple base that will allow me to manufacture a bot that talks like her. To monitor data, I need to stay behind. Still, I think the plan is pretty simple. You talk to her while wearing a wire, I process the recordings here to steal her voice, and voila, she's wide open. Then, we invade Double Spiral and destroy it from within. The evil is defeated, I become part of your crew, happy ending for everybody. How does that sound to you? When I'm in danger, will she even talk to me? It sounds fun. Happy to hear it. Hope shakes her head and claps her hands. When she speaks up, she sounds different, more spaced out, stuttering. Alright, let me fix you up with the hardware. She hands you a minuscule earpiece and starts attaching a small decorative pin to your clothes, along with some masked wiring. Jesus. It's a directional microphone. I can clean up the audio later, but keep it pointed directly at Kara as much as possible. Alright? You put on the earpiece she gave you. It fits snugly deep inside your right ear. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. The hardware works flawlessly, and the audio quality seems great. You give Hope an affirmative sign with your head. Beautiful. Kara designated the meeting place as the Vessels. You heard about the place, right? It's right by the eastern end of Lincoln Tunnel. A giant pile of staircases, basically impossible to miss. Manhattan's answer to the Eiffel Tower, or a gaudy monument to being only ever so slightly free, depending on who you ask. I drive you there, but my car is still in the shop, and I don't want to risk being spotted by Kara's people. And I need to process the voice data from here. Which means I have a perfectly acceptable number of excuses for not letting myself get anywhere close to that demonic old hag. You involuntarily roll your eyes a little bit. Hope sits in front of her screens, pretending not to have noticed. So, should we get this show on the road or what? Ready whenever you are. No sense lingering here. You get back to the street and find your car. Wrapping up this show as quickly as possible sounds like a good idea. Around 30 minutes later, you are in front of the Vessel. Hope's description, a giant piece of staircases, wasn't particularly helpful. From the distance, the building looks more like a giant honeycomb designed to swarm with tourist bees. At least during the day, that is. At the moment, the place is closed to general public. A few men who look vaguely threatening and out of place are making sure nobody unwanted gets in. However, you have no problem getting up the stairs. All it takes is an exchange of knowing glances with one of the guards. You are expected. A lone figure appears to your right, staring down the streets of Manhattan. You know, city people often complain about being unable to see the starry skies, but I always thought the real tragedy was how they're unable to appreciate the man-made sea of lights that surrounds them. You can teach people a lot of things, but you can't teach them to see, huh? You recognize the face from Hope's phone. Finally, you meet Kara Montgomery in the flesh. She turns to you, puts on a wide smile, and shakes your hand with a firm grip. First, a representative of Sophie Langley, now a representative of Hope. Not the way I developed my own career, but I gotta say, not many neonates get around the way you do. Hardy fucking har. Hope speaks up in your ear for the first time, seething with contempt. Although Kara can't possibly have heard her, she immediately goes on to address her absence. Can't say I expected her to actually arrive here, with you or instead of you. On the other hand, I'm sure every single word I say will be instantly relayed to her. And for the first time in forever, your empty blabbering will serve an actual useful cause. So let me make sure we cut out everyone but the middleman for a while, okay? She takes out her phone and taps the touchscreen. In a few seconds, the barely perceptible buzzing sound in your ear disappears completely. You can't hear Hope anymore. It's probable she can't hear your voice right now either, which would mean she must be busy raging and cursing out everything in her sight at the moment. This obviously wasn't something she expected to happen. Could it be that Kara saw through your plan? You have to play it cool and see what happens next. Knowing Hope, you've probably heard whatever scraps can be Googled about me and a pile of insults for good measure. Obviously, I know everything there's to be known about you as well, Porcelain. I don't believe we have a need for formal introductions, but first off, let me apologize for the discomfort my former employee has caused you. I wasn't remotely aware of his planned actions against Hope. I fully condemned them. I'm glad to see you unharmed, and of course, applaud your swift disposal of the psycho. Langley chose you well. Brief silence. So let me cut to the chase here and present myself the best way I know how. Through my ideas. Who do you think has a monopoly on reality? Not much for small talk, is she? Who do you think has a monopoly on reality? Corporations, we do the state. Ooh, probably corporations. Corporations do. That's a fairly typical answer, very 21st century sounding. Have you succeeded in replacing the state here, though? She signals to someone behind you. For a while you've been watched by Kara's men who circle around the staircases, presumably her ghouls. One of them sets off downstairs. You know, Bolivia just had a military coup. Hundreds of new accounts posting about nothing but Bolivian politics in English set out to convince every random person online that the US wasn't to blame. Sloppy work, if you ask me. Now imagine this, a 17-year-old K-pop fan from Ohio writing an entire thread about her relatives in La Paz are actually glad the president is gone. Media scaled the fourth estate. I would have went with that too. Yeah. Film reviewer with us. Oh, sorry, I just bumped my microphone. A film reviewer with a side interest in politics is telling you a CIA-approved narrative about Evo Morales. An approachable fitness guy explaining the situation to you in simple terms, just like it is. Animated voice, expressive gestures, and steady eye contact. She taught herself how to project a good image, but isn't a natural yet. At times it feels as if she is screaming at you to trust her. It's not hard to emulate the masses. Reach out to one of those Eastern European troll farms and bang, a few hours later you have a clone army that will instantly voice their support for any cause. You will spread your message, but you won't foster a new culture that serves your goals, won't masquerade your messaging as independent thought. For that, you need personalities, not the masses. But the ability to emulate personalities? A whole different ballgame. Not a craft, but an art. You need to understand your fabrication so deeply that you start to hate it and then learn to love it. And if you want to make a bunch of those personalities follow one agenda, you need a once-in-a-lifetime team to achieve that. A like-minded artistic collective, both ambitious and obedient. Even though you can't hear Hope's voice in your ear right now, you could swear you hear her in Kara's speech. It's the exact same tone she was using when monologuing in the car. One of them must have been a big influence on another. Or perhaps they used to be in a position where they both shaped each other's personas? Hard to say, only one thing is for sure. And that is Hope must be absolutely furious right now. Is it possible that Kara knew about her plot? Fingers crossed she doesn't. The state is satisfied when an account that went unused for 5 years suddenly starts yelling imperialist propaganda into the void. The aging corporations are too set in their ways. But imagine a fresh startup that enables the proliferation of ideas adjacent to the prince's plans for the future. Now imagine it getting into bed with the biggest corporations and agencies. So many lives that could be improved. So, even saved from the raids of First Light, I have the infrastructure. I have the elder support. All I need now is a mastermind at the center of it all. Hope? Yes, Hope. She looks down and takes in the scenery below for a while. Then she points at her t-shirt. The one piece of clothing clashes with the rest of her outfit. You know, I'm a huge fan of punk. The leading idea of my company, Double Spiral, is to make everything I do a little bit punk. I'm all about clashing ideas. I'm all about disruption. You blink a few times in quick succession. Oh, God, you think to yourself, she's that kind of person. You saw a lot of them in your old life. Another rich idiot who thinks steals are an art form, too. Hell-bent on perverting the meaning of any piece of actual art that hasn't been thoroughly ruined by the art-hating dystopia that surrounds you. You collect yourself and escape from memory lane. Kara's started talking about hope, so you better listen. To me, hope is as punk as it gets. A free spirit, fiercely independent, an eternal contrarian, at odds with everything and everyone, developing her talents just because she finds it joyful. But God, does that girl need guidance? Not putting her talents to better use, rotting away, posting inane bullshit all the time. What a waste. I have built an environment specifically to develop her talents and let her become indispensable to our society, but she rejects it because of some idiotic hang-ups. I don't expect you to change your mind about me just because I kept yapping and yapping. I just hope you'll keep my perspective in mind and serve as the voice of reason Hope really needs right now. Now that I've had my say, how about we put our girl back on? She taps on her phone again. A quiet buzz reappears in your right ear. 5 extremely long seconds of radio silence. I'm here. Keep talking. Don't worry. She should have heard everything. I just wanted to spare you an annoying commentary track while I introduce myself. Excuse me for a second. One of Kara's guards approaches to show her something on his phone. Hope uses the distraction to get you up to speed with how things are on her side. Yeah, for a second there I was about to rage that the Hague has gotten the better of us, but hey, go figure. She just wanted to take a piss in my Cheerios. The plan worked. I have a lot of data from her monologue, and some private sources, but the more we gather, the better. This displays here says some more K letters could be useful. So don't beat yourself up about it if you fail, but if you get her to repeat something with K in it, that might improve our deepfake voice. Looks like Kara's done talking to the guard. Sorry about that. Looks like I got to attend a Sun meeting with a Google representative shortly. Hope snorts. Not bragging, though. By the way, does anyone but Hope know about this little rendezvous? Your patron? Any other companion? Or maybe the Nosferatu? My patron, the Nosferatu, nobody. My patron. Wouldn't dare do anything without my patron's knowledge. That's smart. Neonates need to have as many eyes watching them as possible. Anyway, no offense, but since Hope's not here, I really have to rush. Honestly, I feel a little insulted that she set up this meeting and didn't even bother to show up. Insulted and suspicious, her tone of voice betrays her. She might have some good instincts. Too bad she doesn't trust them here. Still, out of respect for Langley, I decided to have this talk with you. To explain you why I'm an asset. That's not a sentence. To explain you why I'm an asset to the Camarilla, and to explain why the elders need Hope by my side. What the Wormbrag Hague here forgot to mention is that the elders don't give a shit about me. Even if you don't see it my way now, I believe I've sown some seeds here that might sprout in the near future. Double Spiral looks out for people who look out for it is all I'm saying. But before I leave, there's one thing I really wish I knew. Back when I knew her, she was a different person, or different people, depending on how you look at it. Why does she fight against me so much? What's her motivation to resist so much? What's her motivation? Good question. She's never shared it with you. Answer whatever you want, but A, you better lie through your teeth, and B, get her to say V a few times if you can. It might improve a few shortcomings of her deepfake software. What's your answer? Survival, one word, payback, retribution, love, survival. Car snorts. Spare me. If she just wanted to keep pulling through, she'd have a better chance by my side. Pride or spite would be far more believable as an answer. Should have told me you either don't know or don't trust me. Survival, V, 2 times. Good attempt, at least. One of Kara's people erupts with a theatrical cough. With a theoretical cough, like that's a thing. Kara gestures at him to calm down. I really need to go now. See you around, Porcelain. She begins to walk down the stairs, surrounded by her guards. Once she's gone from before your eyes, Hope decides to summarize your mission. For the love of Christ, wish you could have kept her droning on for a little longer. Turns out the T letter could use some improvements as well. Not complaining, though. You did good, and don't worry. The data I have should be more than enough to generate a convincing deepfake. I just need to put in some more work. So I guess I will get to that right away. Enjoy the rest of your night. Drop my hardware at your haven when you get a chance. I'll let you know when we're ready to hit Kara's base of operations. Pray for my success, sweetie, and I might be done soon, maybe even tomorrow. And once we're done with her, we'll talk about how I can repay your generosity. Amen. The connection drops. It looks like that's all for now. You gaze at the sea of lights around you for the last time, and then start making your way back to street level. All right. Now we have Faith and Myth, Part 3, Nosy Reporter, Gift that Keeps on Giving, and Jezebel's Childer. Let's finish this off with some Faith and Myth. Approaching the cathedral in the street makes you nervous. You've been here twice, and twice something bad has happened, or almost happened, as in both cases you ran away. Benoit suggests it's time to stop running and experience faith head-on. Perhaps he's right. Maybe it's cowardly to take refuge in rationalizations when you know what you felt, the holiness of the priest and your own damnation. Walking towards the doors of the cathedral, you glance at the bench where you sat when you first met Benoit. He's waiting for you, sitting and contemplating the cathedral's Gothic architecture. I wasn't sure I'd come. Are you sure we can meet here? I just can't let these questions go. You sure we can meet here? Don't worry, we're not going inside. Benoit looks different than before, intense, certain. We've had some time to think about what we spoke of before. I'm not sure what to believe. I want to learn more about Cain. I think God is with me even now. I'm not sure what to believe, dude. All these stories seem so fantastical. You don't have to believe. You just have to open your heart to the faith Father Anthony represents. Let's go see Father Anthony. It's best not to talk in the cathedral, so I arranged for us to see him at his home. I have a car nearby. This better be on the level. Good idea. Ooh. This better be on the level. Benoit. We're beyond that kind of tough talk, don't you think? You follow Benoit and he walks down the street until you come to his car, a surprisingly pedestrian family sedan. What's up with all these sedans? The essence of the Masquerade is inconspicuousness. Nobody expects a vampire to drive a car like this. Benoit drives north towards Queens. During the moments you feel most anonymous, just another speck of dust in a vast machine where every action influences the whole in tiny ways. The one thing you've learned about the Kindra is that they are not lacking in self-regard. The Prince of Camarilla City is said to rule the domain, yet how much do they really affect mortal affairs? If you ask a vampire, they'll say a lot. Perhaps that's what made Benoit turn inward, the futility of finding meaning in a secret, predatory existence. Benoit stops in front of a red brick row house, a little run down but probably not cheap. Benoit notes your interest. Father Anthony comes from an old New York family. He inherited the house. When I first met him, I was suspicious, so I checked up on him. Despite the way he keeps putting you in dangerous situations, kindred paranoia seems to come naturally to Benoit. Perhaps that's something you can learn from him. He knows we're vampires, right? Does he know we're coming? Isn't it a masquerade breach? I suppose, but we make ghouls all the time. We hunt. The masquerade is threatened regularly with much worse than this. You follow Benoit to the stairs, looking around for any signs of an ambush. As you get to the door, the first signs of trepidation hit you. The discomfort, the pain that'll follow once you're inside. It feels like a physical thing, a burning sensation under your skin, in your blood. You look to see how Benoit is taking it. He's smiling, eyes closed for a second before knocking on the door. Almost as if he's enjoying the sensation. He probably does, freak. The door opens and you see Father Anthony's kindly face. Your body feels as if it's in a vice. You haven't really been bothered by hot or cold since you were embraced, but now it feels like the surface of your skin is overwhelmed with sensation. The fear and terror are paralyzing. Yes. You barely hear Benoit's whisper. Come in, you two. I might not know much, but I know enough not to do this on the porch. You force yourself to follow Father Anthony into the apartment, despite the splitting headache and rising panic. It's hard to take in your surroundings. Everything seems to vibrate, seeking to engulf you. Framed portraits on a mantelpiece, a cross on the wall, a living room with lots of books, many of them old. I'm not sure I can offer you anything. You don't drink tea, I suppose? No, we don't. Is there, we'll be fine. Thank you, Father. Are you sure you're okay? You look distressed. Please, Father, you know this is difficult for us. You'll forgive me if I don't waste time. Father Anthony looks pained, whether because of the rudeness or out of sympathy for your condition. You can't tell. He motions for you to sit down, but you and Benoit are both too agitated to do so. You feel trapped, like a moth being smeared against a burning light bulb. It's hard to look at Father Anthony, but you can't look at anything else either. Benoit is starting to look increasingly unhinged. His eyes look as if he's seeing into some divine beyond just outside the grasp of your senses. Now the time, my friend. You have to decide if you're ready for salvation. Prove your faith by embracing the Father and let His radiance envelop you. Please, Benoit, it hurts. This was a mistake. It hurts, dude. You're damned. It's supposed to hurt. Just kneel and be blessed. As the burning pain racks your body, Benoit pushes you down to your knees. You don't resist, too consumed by the holy suffering inflicted on you. Startled, Father Anthony takes a step back. Benoit, what are you doing? Father, it's time to be redeemed, for both of us. Benoit falls to his knees next to you, lifting his face in full embrace of the holy agony. This is not right, Benoit. Everyone has a chance for salvation. I understand there's something in God's presence that burns you, but you can work through it. Please, Benoit, there are many paths to salvation and we'll find yours. I won't hurt you and your friend. Benoit moans in pain, stricken with grief and disbelief at Father Anthony's refusal. Please, Father, they don't even believe. Not truly. Father Anthony looks at you and seems to waver. Even his belief in salvation has limits. Profess your belief, kill the father or run away. I'm not fucking... Look, I'm not religious at all, but I have fucking... You don't kill a priest. I'm just gonna run away. This has gone too long. You must summon the last reserves of your blood and escape. In less time than it takes to blink, you're at the door and outside, using your vampiric speed to escape the pain and fear of Father Anthony's holy presence. You're about to step at the curb, but glancing back, you realize Benoit is right behind you. The philosophical, rueful Benoit is gone. Instead, you see a man twisted by resentment and abandonment, burning with hate towards you. The mask is off, and you realize that he wants you to burn under Father Anthony's touch, even if he has to force you to do it. You're fast enough that for most bystanders, you're just a blur. A quick movement that's already gone by the time they start paying attention. Still, running on the street does no favors to the Masquerade. There are 1,000 cameras on the streets of New York, and as you run past pedestrians, the odds of someone starting to wonder increase. Benoit is past caring. You hear a low growl as he gains on you, fangs out, ready to tear at your neck. You duck into an alley, hoping there's somewhere for you to go. A homeless man stares right at you as you streak past. Benoit can't be far behind. It's not very dignified, but beggars can't be choosers. You jump into a dumpster and pull the lid closed. You lie still in the stench of the garbage. In moments like these, you're grateful for not having to breathe. Is Benoit still outside? Did he fall for it? You wait for what seems like an eternity before you cautiously lift the lid of the dumpster. Just the alley. Benoit is nowhere in sight. You escaped. You're safe, but what the implications of your experience are troubling. What does this mean? Whether practical or spiritual, it feels like you have to think about this for a long time. You're free to return to your haven, and there is a distinct temptation to keep the events of the night to yourself. Yet these events cannot be good for the Masquerade. Let's talk to Sophie. I think Sophie will understand and forgive us if we talk to her. I think she'll be more pissed. I don't know if she'll be pissed, but she'll be less pissed if we tell her now than if we keep it a secret. You make your way to Sophie's apartment, seeking comfort in the anonymity of the crowds on the New York sidewalks. Some are coming from a late shift at work, others are going out. You nod to the doorman and slip into Sophie's building. Go up and knock on her door. Sophie opens the door in the middle of a phone call. She motions you to come in as she mumbles assent to the phone. She could be talking about earth-shattering secrets or an acquisition from an art gallery. Following Sophie's cue, you sit down in the living room. A few moments later, Sophie ends her call and sits down opposite you, regarding you with her usual mix of paternalism and disdain. You appear shaken up. That's not a good look to cultivate in the world of the kindred. Fucking tell her about Benoit. I have to tell you something about Benoit, your child. Benoit. I haven't heard from him in a while. Where did you dig him up? Benoit is dangerous. Benoit is talking to mortals about us. You have to ask Kadir to put him down. Sophie looks at you with such anger. For a moment, you're afraid she'll slap you. The moment passes as soon as it came. She looks lonely for a moment before speaking. Oh yeah, I forgot! Fucking Benoit was her childer. I suppose you're right. That's how we dealt with wayward childer. I'll have to talk with Kadir about Benoit. Let's keep your name out of this. Poor Benoit. He never did come to grips with his nature. You leave Sophie's apartment unsure whether you did the right thing. Despite everything, Benoit showed you something that's impossible to dismiss. In the coming nights, you'll have to decide what it means. If faith is real, what is the role of a vampire? Which myths can you build your life on? Perhaps one day you'll find your way back to Father Anthony's door. Fucking, I don't think I will, but okay. We'll rest. Alright, you come back to your haven after A long night on the town. There's still some time before the sun comes up, but sometimes you just need a little break. To relax, watch TV. As you open the door to your haven, it's clear something is wrong. You hear moaning from within. Stepping cautiously inside, you see a man splayed on the floor. 40s, strong build, wearing a black suit. One of Sophie's servants. His face is a mess and a piece of bone is sticking out of his leg. The ghoul moans through his broken teeth, only half conscious. Just as you're about to do something, the door to the apartment flies off its hinges in a loud crash behind your back. What the fuck? Freeze, don't move. You turn around to see at least 6 police officers storming your apartment. 2 point guns at your face while the rest spread out to check the other rooms. One of the cops pushes past you into the living room. There's a body here. We're going to need an ambulance. He's still breathing. Bewildered, you gather your wits. There must be some way out of this ridiculous situation. Explain that you just came in, run away. Calm the cops down. Please calm down. This is all a big misunderstanding. The cops hesitate and lower their guns. Can you explain what's going on here? As the rest of the police search the apartment, you decide the best course of action is to buy time. You're glad you followed Sophie's rule that a haven should never have anything that endangers the masquerade in it. I don't know who this man is. I heard a noise. I won't be able to take this man on. I don't know who this man is. I've never seen this man in my life. Of course, sir. Is this your apartment, sir? Suddenly you hear commotion out in the hallway. Sophie walks into the apartment surrounded by an entourage of serious-looking men and women in dark clothes. Some of them flash badges at the officers present. You feel the power of Sophie's blood almost like a physical sensation on your skin. There's no saying no to her. This man was with me when this terrible act of violence occurred. He has an airtight alibi. You've rarely seen Sophie wield the full extent of her powers. You're not sure how much is supernatural ability and how much is bribery and political connections. It doesn't matter. The injured man works for me. He must be hospitalized this instant. If he doesn't receive a full recovery, there will be consequences. For 15 minutes, you watch as Sophie imperiously orders the police officers round. Some of the people she brought in with her also seem to be police, but you're not sure. You catch Sophie grimacing in the direction of an empty corner, and something tells you that there might be a third vampire in the apartment. Your stalker, perhaps. The injured man gets carried away on a stretcher. The cop leaves you without even checking your ID. That was amazing. That was amazing. I know. One of the perks of serving me is that sometimes problems go away. Your stalker was here, but now she's left. Her name is Adeline Davis, in case you were wondering. A lunatic. Truly one of the more pestilent clans. How can I stop this? Should we kill her? How can I stop this from happening again? You can't, but we can. I'll arrange a little chat with Miss Davis. Later, you'll join me in Elysium and deal with this problem like the vampire you are, with words. Sophie leaves you alone. The idea of spending the day in a haven that's just been raided by the police seems risky, but you decide to trust Sophie's assurances. It's not like you have anything else to go on. Well, that was fun. And so with that, that will be the end of this part of Vampire the Masquerade. I hope y'all are enjoying this. I am. We got a couple of new games to play. I decided to get the Dark... What's it fucking called? It's the Dark Anthology, I think it's what it's called. It's Man of Medan, House of Ashes, and Little Hope. And also I got Unpacking, which is that packing game that finally got released to PlayStation, and I'm so excited to play it. So we might do one of those games instead of the game I had been planning on after this one, but we shall see. Please let me know in the comments what you would like. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. If you want to keep up with Vampire the Masquerade, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notification icon to know whenever I go live. Give the video a like if you liked it, and if you're feeling generous, donate to Extra Life. If you're looking for the link there, it can be found at the top of live chat. Nightbot's got you there, or you can go to my channel page, and it will be under the links. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love you as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!